Hello and welcome to ScrapTV, the video forum for the ISRI and Scrap Magazine websites. I'm Kent Kiser, your ScrapTV host, and today we're incredibly fortunate to have Toby Shine of Shine Brothers in Spencer, Iowa with us. Toby is a 2015 recipient of ISRI's Lifetime Achievement Award. He's worked full-time in his family's recycling business, Shine Brothers, for 55 years. Is that correct?
That's about right.
Oh my gosh. Well, when it gets over 5 decades, that's hard to keep track, I'm sure. And he has served in the industry's trade associations, including ISRI, for decades as well. First off, thank you for joining us, Toby.
Well, thanks for having me.
And congratulations on the award.
It's just been a thrill for me.
Can you tell me how does it feel to win a Lifetime Achievement Award like that? How did you feel, and were you surprised?
Yes, I was surprised, and it really makes you feel old.
How did you get the news? Who called you, and how did it come about?
Oh, Doug Kramer called me to give me a little heads up.
Oh,
So
that's very nice.
yeah.
Well, listen, in your long and distinguished career, can you tell me any of the highlights or some milestones in your career that you recall as being particularly memorable?
Oh, there's so many of them.
Yeah, well, just come out with any ones that come to mind.
Oh, you know, family business. I was a third generation in it. The one that's supposed to screw it up, and I guess I got lucky. Very fortunate to have my 2 daughters in it and my son-in-law. So we are now working on a 4th generation.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, the highlights. I think one of the real highlights was when I finally got started with Herschel Cutler back in
Okay.
the days, and got me interested in this organization. My first convention was down at the Fontainebleau, which I'll never forget. And
How long ago was that?
oh God, it's been 50 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
But you know, it's just the experiences, the people you meet in this association, and I would tell you that I've never been to one of these meetings that I haven't met somebody new, I haven't learned something, we haven't improved our business because of it.
Oh, that's great. Great to hear. Well, now, I know that Shine Brothers has been very involved and pioneering in the whole wire chopping niche. Whose idea in your company was it to even enter that niche?
Well, it really started out that my father was a great guy with non-ferrous metals. And one day the Iowa DNR came in and said, "You can't burn copper anymore outside."
Okay.
So we bought a furnace and started burning it, and discovered it was rather slow. So one day there was a guy by the name of John Grosskirth with Triple S Dynamics who was in talking to me, and we wound up buying a small chopping line. When I say small, it was 2 24 granulators in a separating table, and from there it just grew. John wanted to know if I wanted to go look at a line, and I had seen a couple of old lines in Chicago, and I said, "No, I don't want to waste a trip. Let's just get this thing going." And that's how it all started.
What year do you recall entering that niche then?
Oh, it must have been in the 80s sometime, I would say.
Okay. All right. And you think that was a great decision?
Oh, yes. It's been a very important part of our business. We've always been trying to stay on the forefront of technology. You know, we put a shredder in. This year we've added a non-ferrous recovery system. And I've just been our company has been so fortunate in the people that have joined us, and they're all like family to us, and you know, they come up with great ideas, and we instigate it and move on.
Well, now, I have been to Spencer, Iowa, where your company is based, and how have you managed to succeed in a small town like that? Where have you been able to build your business in that area?
Well, the small town has just been a great community for us. We obviously had to find ways to bring material into us and ship it out. In the old days, there was a great packing house in Spencer. They would ship beef out, and we would use them for backhauls.
Oh, interesting.
You know, that thing's over now, and we're like everybody else fighting freight rates. But you know, we have rail sidings, we have trucks, and it's just been you know, it's a logistical problem that you just work on.
Sure. Okay. Well, now I know you added a Vazani shear at some point. How long ago was that?
Oh, that was years ago.
Okay.
You know, today I think the Vazani shear might run 5-6 hours a week at the most.
Oh, okay.
And so it's not it was a great piece of equipment in its day, but it's not how we process anymore.
And you said you added a shredder.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Oh, God, that's got to be, I suppose it's probably been 6, 8 years now.
Okay. And has that been a good investment in your view?
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, now, you mentioned earlier your involvement in the association, and you started going a long time ago. Did that mean your father was also very into the associations?
No, my father was kind of the old school that all he wanted to do was stay home and work.
Okay.
Now, he certainly didn't discourage me and encouraged me to.
Okay.
My father was always a guy that was involved locally. He served on a hospital board for 40 years. And watched it grow, and you know, those were kind of his passions.
Okay. So what was it that motivated you to want to start going to the association meetings? Who contacted you, or how did you decide to go?
Oh, actually, it all started over a party we wanted to have in Okoboji, Iowa. And I talked to Dr. Cutler about coming out and talking to our group and forming a Iowa chapter.
Oh, okay.
And after we got done, we brought several new members into the association with the Northwest chapter, and that was really how it all started. And of course, Dr. Cutler would have been just a great mentor for me in those days in learning, meeting people, and getting me involved.
Excellent. Now, in all of your different association roles, you've done many things in the chapter, on the ISRI national level. Are there any particular great memories of projects you were involved in, or committees you sat on, or decisions you were part of?
Oh, I think years ago we had a wire chopping committee, and I think it was probably one of the first times that the wire choppers sat down and talked to each other and shared some of our common problems, and it was a great experience. I certainly enjoyed my time with the co-op. I enjoyed being the chairman of that a year ago or 2 years ago, and you know, those things just keep going on and on and on.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, now, I know that Eva, who is your younger daughter,
Right.
she's involved in the business, and you say your older daughter is also involved in the
Yeah,
business?
my older daughter, who's never forgiven me for her name, it's Kevin with an K-E-V-E-N.
Oh, okay.
And she's also involved. She is married with a couple of my grandchildren.
Excellent.
And just does most of our human resource type work.
Did it surprise you that your daughter has wanted to enter the business?
Yes and no. Kevin's case, she went and got her business degree. Eva went out to Arizona State, got a law degree and a master's in economics, and actually started in a law practice out in Arizona. She worked for the Ninth Circuit out there in the federal court, and then decided she wanted to get closer to home, so she went to work with Swan's Ice Cream. And in doing some family planning, one day she surprised me and said she wouldn't mind joining us. So it's been a great move, great for all of us.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, was it a business philosophy for you all that before they could come into the business, they had to work outside of it for a while?
No, I wouldn't say it was. It worked out that way, but it certainly wasn't. You know, I guess if you look at my career, I worked one summer in a construction crew somewhere, and other than that, that's all I ever knew was the scrap business.
I mean, it gets in your blood
Yeah.
and goes through the family. Now, Eva has joked. She said that she and her sister joke with you that they might change the company name to Shine Sisters from Shine Brothers.
Actually, they have a Shine Sisters division, which owns some property that we own.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
that is too funny.
I'm not sure she's joking. Matter of fact, I will walk in on them when they're having a conversation, say, what's going on? The usual answer is hostile takeover.
Well, now, I know that scrap is not your only business endeavor. You're quite diverse. Can you talk a little bit about just some of your other business adventures and why you got into them?
Oh, my wife and I have been very fortunate throughout our life, and we've always needed a puzzle to work on.
Okay.
She did a housing development back in our local area, did a great job on it. She and her girlfriend owned a hotel in town for a long time. That was just to save the hotel so it wouldn't get closed in those days.
Sure.
And remodeled it and did a hell of a job on it. She was with me in Shine Brothers. She's now with me in my hobby that's gotten a little out of hand, which is called Okoboji Classic Cars.
Oh, there you go.
We have a man cave that is 65,000 square feet with 100 and some collector cars in it.
Now, what does that business do? Does it actually, is it like a museum, or do you use the cars for
Whoa,
other
whoa,
purposes?
whoa, it's not a museum, it's a man cave.
Pardon me.
It's, we got really, it's got it's got two landscapes in it. One is of the community I grew up in about 1960, which was Spencer. And the other one is the amusement park, which was in Okoboji, 14 miles north of us. So it actually has two landscapes in it.
Whoa.
And, you know, if you go on your internet, Okoboji Classic Cars sometime, there's a good video showing it.
Oh,
We've had, you know, several people, I guess that I was never going to open it to the public, but the demand got so big for it that we finally did. And so now we charge $10 a head to get in and give them $10 worth of credit in the store. So, but that helps pay for the security people to watch the cars.
sure.
And, you know, one of the things that I suppose I'm as proud of as anything is putting two scrap companies together, which was Sioux City Compressed Steel and Shine Brothers. Both are still individually owned, but together we own TJ Enterprises, which is 6 other scrap yards.
Oh, boy.
And it's just, that's where we decided to put our expansions, all, so we didn't wind up competing with each other.
Now,
So-
you mentioned there's a story behind that. Can you tell us a little about the story?
Well, the story really is, I was a young man just getting started in this business, and a guy by the name of Jack Bernstein was running State Steel and Sioux City Compressed down in Spencer, or down in Sioux City. And one day I was coming through Sioux City, and my father and Sam Bernstein had never met each other,
Okay.
which would be his father, and they were competitors, so they didn't like each other. And I actually stopped in to meet Jack, or stopped in to meet Sam, and Jack kind of interfered and got in the middle, so there wouldn't be any bloodbath up there. And took me to a place called the Elbon Club, which was a shrine club down in Sioux City, and we started drinking martinis that day and became very, very good friends. And a week or a month or so later, we finally got our parents together, and they wound up being absolutely great friends the rest of their lives. So, and then we started TJN Enterprises, and have grown it from there.
Now, where is TJN's operations? Where are they located?
Oh, we're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Yankton, South Dakota, Aberdeen, South Dakota, Watertown, South Dakota, Esterville, Iowa, and Worthington, Minnesota.
Oh, boy. Okay. So a good compliment to your other operations.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, definitely you have a great reputation for being a community supporter and many activities outside of your scrap career. Can you talk a little bit about your biggest passions of community service and where that whole philosophy came from for you?
Well, again, I got to go back to my dad and our family, as my father explained to me many, many years ago, money is kind of like manure. If you don't spread it around a little bit, nothing will grow. So we've always been very community active, state active, and, you know, national type things. One of the fun ones that we did 2 years ago was we partnered with Cessna Aircraft for the benefit of the Armed Forces Foundation.
Okay.
And we redid an old M37 truck, and they redid an L-19 airplane, and they were auctioned off for that benefit of the Barrett Jackson.
Cool.
And it was really kind of a neat project. It raised, I think, $1.1 million or $1.2 million for the foundation, and Cessna was just a great partner in this thing. And so, but those kind of things, you know, are fun.
What kind of, do you get any payback from it yourself? I mean, what do you find? You get
Get a lot of satisfaction.
Just a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, would you say, going forward, what do you see for the company, for Shine Brothers, and yourself going forward? Any plans on the horizon?
Well, just, I think there's probably no end to where we'll go. And I've got people like my two daughters involved, Jack Bernstein's son, David. You know, these kids are full of ambitions, and they will do things that I never dreamt of doing, just as I did things my father never dreamt of doing.
Sure. Now, how are you still involved full time, or what do you do these days?
I'm involved. I've been very, very fortunate at Shine Brothers to have a general manager by the name of Dan Wyckoff, and his son, who is Mike Wyckoff, and then at TJN we have Kevin Copses. And these guys just do a super job for us, which allows my wife and I to spend a little bit of time in Arizona in the winter, or a whole bunch. She explained to me that we married for better or worse, not for lunch, so I get to stay out there about 10 days, and I have to go back Spencer for a few days and come back.
So what do you like to do when you aren't at the office? What keeps you busy?
My job anymore is really just to help figure out solve problems, and listen to ideas, and once in a while they let me go glad hand a customer, but other than that, that's about all I get done anymore.
Wonderful. And if you still had to say what you enjoy about even being a little involved in the scrap industry that you are, what do you enjoy about it?
Same thing I've always enjoyed. It's the people. I can go anywhere in this country, and I can walk into a scrapyard, and I'll know somebody somewhere. If I ever get in trouble, I know where I can go to get some help.
I'm sure that's true.
And the friendships that I've made through the years, they're priceless.
Now, have you been to like every ISRI convention since the beginning, or is this something?
Well, yeah, I have been for 55 years, I suppose.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All the way back through the ISIS times or the
Yeah.
NARI times?
ISIS.
ISIS. Oh my goodness. Any particularly memorable ones that stand out?
Every one of them stands out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Toby, thank you again for joining us today, and congratulations again on the award.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the interview.
Very
Appreciate
well
it.
deserved. I'm Kent Kiser with ScrapTV. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, signing off.